Not too long ago, it seems that I was having a conversation with the outgoing president of Georgian Court University, the Sister of Mercy, Sister Rosemary Jeffries. Today, I'll be sharing and chatting with the new president, the first male president and the first, I think, lay president of Georgian Court University, Dr. Joseph Marbach. Doctor, so nice to have you come on the Catholic Corner.
Thank you, Monsignor. I appreciate the opportunity.
Dr. Marbach hails from Philadelphia. He attended Northeast Catholic High School and earned his bachelor's degree from LaSalle University. He earned his master's degree and doctorate in political science at Temple University. Then he started his career at Seton Hall University as Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. In 2010, he became the Chief Academic Officer at LaSalle, where he expanded the doctoral master's degree and undergraduate degree offerings. Dr. Marbach and his wife, Paula, they've been married 26 years. Goes quick, I bet, huh?
It does.
They have 3 beautiful children, and our parishioners at St. Catherine Drexel Parish in Burlington, New Jersey. Dr. Marbach, welcome to the Catholic Corner. Gosh, it's your first year at the university. What was it about Georgian Court University that made you want to apply for the presidency?
Well, it was a couple of different items. One was certainly location. We've lived in New Jersey since 26 years since we were been married, and I spent 16 of them at Seton Hall, and then interrupted for a few years with LaSalle. And so the opportunity to come back to New Jersey was very appealing. The fact that Georgian Court is a Catholic university, I spent most of my career in Catholic higher education. And the opportunities for Georgian Court, I think, are immeasurable. New Jersey as a state is just underserved by Catholic higher education. There are only 6 Catholic universities or colleges in New Jersey. And if you think of 195 as dividing the state in half, Georgian Court's the only Catholic university below 195. So we're the Catholic university for central and southern New Jersey.
Well, that's interesting. Did you, when you applied, did you think, because they've had religious sisters since, I guess, their inception, did you think, well, gee, here I am, a male, a lay person, and I want to be president of Georgian Court?
Well, because of my involvement in Catholic higher education, I knew the demographics were just changing, and there are fewer members of the clergy, fewer sisters, fewer brothers. In fact, LaSalle was going through a search for a president also, and there just weren't any Christian brothers in the wings. And so it was communicated to me as well that there were fewer and fewer Sisters of Mercy available. So, I understood that was part of the change, but probably more importantly, Georgian Court for 105 years of its existence had been all female. And we only went co-ed. We're in our 3rd year of being co-ed now. So
did you start with the master's program or something at night, or the night?
We did.
Program?
We had evening programs for men, and then some of the graduate programs for men. But the traditional day program was all female up until 3 years ago.
Gosh, that's got to be a big jump too. I think to make that decision, probably necessary, but still, it's a big decision to make. Tell me a little bit, if you can, what's your vision for the university? I mean, today, everything's changed in the world. Certainly education is different. I think the professors, the way they might deal with the youngsters. What's the vision that you would have for a university like Georgian Court?
Well, I think it really is part of that opportunity that I talked about. If you think about the dioceses that we serve, New Jersey's 5 dioceses, and we're really very close to the Metuchen Diocese. We're certainly in the Trenton Diocese, and we can serve the Camden Diocese. There's 2 million Catholics in those 5 dioceses. And I believe that Georgian Court is uniquely positioned to service the needs of those Catholic families. And I don't need all 2 million of them to come to my school, but a sliver of them is important. The other thing that attracted me to Georgian Court, and the thing that I think we can really make a difference in, is that New Jersey is a net exporter of 18-year-olds. So we lead the country in terms of the percentage, and we're just behind California in terms of the overall number of our 18-year-olds that go to Pennsylvania, New York, Maryland, Virginia, and other parts. And I think we can do something to keep those students here and attract them. And I think carving out our Catholic niche and our Catholic identity will be very attractive to a significant portion of those. We're not going to be all things to everybody, but we're going to be some things to a very important population, the Catholic population.
What are if there are new ways that you employ to attract students to the university? I really don't know. It's probably more students leave their homes and come to school and go back to their homes and then stay at the Georgian Court, or is that going to expand, or you have visions for that?
Yeah, well, that's part of the larger vision. For many, many years, Georgian Court has been a local university, and our aspiration is to be more regional. Mm-hmm. But we get 70 to 75% of our students from Ocean and Monmouth County. So I believe that Burlington, Camden, Middlesex, parts of Pennsylvania, New York, and Maryland offer us opportunities to really expand our outreach. And so we have started to address our admissions process differently, our enrollment process differently, trying to reach out into those areas with some kind of broader approach. We also are redoubling our efforts with our local Catholic schools. It's been an area that, quite frankly, I've been disappointed. If you look at our freshman class that came in September, just over 10% of that freshman class came to us from a Catholic high school. And I think we can do a lot more to attract students from Catholic high schools. I think they should be natural feeders. And I think maybe our admissions department started to take those schools for granted for a while. And it's resulted in declining enrollments from those schools. So we've got a series of initiatives to address Catholic schools.
And I would think it's important for the youngsters themselves that are applying to know that there's a university close by that they can fulfill their dreams and their aspirations. Because I mean, some youngsters, I guess, would like to go out of state, but I think there's a lot of youngsters that want to stay closer to home or stay at home and pursue their education.
I think so too, and I also think that we have the attractiveness. We're only about 10 miles from the shore, so I think there's some students.
Not so bad.
No, not too bad, right? And so I think some of the students from even this part of the state might be interested in coming and seeing what we have. So, but we do need to expand that outreach and bring in more resident students. About 65% of our students now are commuters, and they have their challenges, but I think we need to become more regional and expand the number of residents and attract students from other parts of the state.
Now, when you do that, does that other things are affected by it, like sports programs and opportunities for youngsters to not just do the academics, but also to fulfill their dreams and hopes, and even just to broaden their outlook on life.
And have fun, too,
have fun.
Right? That's part of being an 18 or 19-year-old these days, too.
Yeah.
That's certainly a key component. And in our transition to co-ed, the folks who made that decision, and I give them the credit because it certainly was well before my time, took the approach that we're going to build our men's sports teams to attract male students, and then when we get a critical mass of men athletes, that'll translate into non-athletic men or non-athletes coming to the school. So we currently have 5 male sports. We started with soccer and basketball as mainstays. We also have track and field, which also includes cross country. And this past spring, we launched men's lacrosse. So
and lacrosse is a growing sport.
It is. It really is. It's. I've never watched much of it, but it's a pretty violent sport too. So I guess we're getting all those football players coming into lacrosse.
Well,
these
it's
days.
interesting because when I was a youngster, where I grew up, there was no soccer. Mm-hmm. You know, it was football, baseball, basketball. And then when it was actually after I was a priest and came down this way that, all the schools have soccer. And I was like saying, what's this soccer? that's so popular. And then lacrosse is doing very well with schools. And high schools
High
and
schools, yeah,
university.
and especially in the New Jersey area, it's really
And it's got that
taken
little
off.
roughness to it. No, maybe more than a little roughness, but also I think it's not as expensive to.
No, it has some equipment, but not the cost of, say, a football team, and the concerns over concussion are much lower than you have.
And that's got to be a concern for everybody.
Sure.
Presidents all the way down to the youngsters that are playing a sport.
Oh, certainly, and we even see we're a Division II school, so that means we are able to offer some scholarships. So we'll work with students and we'll offer some athletic aid and some merit aid based on their grades, and we even have some need-based aid based on a family's ability to pay. So we kind of package what we offer to students.
Terrific.
But going back to the concussions, even as a Division II school, they're putting more and more requirements on us to have training staff, medical staff available, because we really don't want to take a chance with the health of these young people.
No, and being involved with myself in some sport things, it's so vital to make sure that they're healthy and well, and they got the best equipment and the best coaches and all of that. I'd like to read, if you don't mind, Dr. Marbach, a quote from the Georgian University magazine, and get your comments on this. You said, "How business, politics, science, and other trends affect spiritual and moral development are issues that we can explore through vocation and calling in everyday conversation. We have a unique opportunity to define our niche in the marketplace and to tell our story by ensuring students answer their calling."
Part of the theme and part of what I find so attractive in Catholic higher education is the freedom to explore those kinds of issues. I'll often have debates with my colleagues from the public sector about where there's greater academic freedom. And they'll say, oh, you're in a Catholic school, so you can't talk about certain things. There's certain things that are taboo. And I say, no, it's quite the opposite. If you're in a public school, you can't mix church and state. You have the taboo things. You have government regulations that prevent you from talking about the spirituality of your students, their quest, not just to learn the information you're going to find in a book, but they're in a transitional time of their lives, and they're learning to be young men and young women, and they're grappling with what it means to be a person, existential questions. And we can ask those in the classroom that you can't ask at Rutgers or Rowan or Stockton. It's just taboo. But at a Catholic university, at faith-based institutions, we serve that need, and I think we really do help our young people develop. This is the rubber chicken circuit for me, so I'm going to honors events and student awards events, and I'm just amazed at the maturity that our young people, our graduates are having, and just their ability to demonstrate the thoughtfulness in their lives. And I think that's a reflection of this ability to hear their calling and follow it.
You have to help me out a little bit and help everybody out a little bit, because I think what you just said is just marvelous. And I always thought that in God's creation, when I look at the years that we have from, say, grade school, grammar school, high school, and all the way through life, there just seems certain times when there's a development going on that then all of a sudden there's like a leap up into another time of life. And high school is a time for certain things to happen, and we all went through high school. But then when you get to that step into the college, the university, it really, I think, is a big step of saying who you are. What kind of a human being do you want to be, as well as God wants you to be, or your family wants you to be? And it's really, I think that's the time when you're hitting it so well that you have to have the freedom to be able, and the trust, I think, to be able to talk to, whether it's your professors, coaches, doctors like yourself, to be able to say, can I share what's in me, and can you share what's in you, and then they can go and develop that. So important.
It really is, and you mentioned my three children. I see it now. My son is 20 years old. He's a junior in college, and just the conversations I have with him are so much different than even the conversations I have with my 18-year-old. She just turned 18 yesterday. Happy birthday, Jill. Who's a senior in high school, and has the concerns of a senior in high school versus a junior in college who's starting to think of his career and what's next, and the conversation is just at a different level. And that's what we can bring. And that other element that you talk about, that safety, it's very unique, I believe, in a Catholic higher education. In fact, you talk about part of my vision. One of the things that I want to be able to promise every student who comes to Georgian Court is that they will find a mentor, whether it's a faculty member or oftentimes it's a staff member, an administrator, that they can have those kinds of questions when they face uncertainty in their lives. And they're 19, they're 20, they're 21, they face a lot of uncertainty, that they have somebody they can confide in and can learn from about what their experience has been and direct them in the right direction. So I want Georgian Court to be the place that's known for every student getting a mentor and leaving knowing that they've been advised by somebody in the right way.
You know, when I hear you talking, we share a little bit. I smile inside of me in a nice way, Dr. Marbach, that youngsters today are so fortunate to have people like yourself at Georgian Court, and I'm sure other places too, that they can be proud enough to be part of your family, and yet free enough to kind of say, yep, I'm going to be taking other steps into building up. And you know, we as in our Christian faith talk about God's kingdom, but it's a whole world. It's the brother and sisters of all of us around the world that we need people to be able to express ourselves, learn a little bit more, and become even a greater part of God's world. It sounds to me that, and I know you a little bit, but it just sounds that the youngsters on that campus, the young men and women are very fortunate to have you, and you seem like a popular person already in a short time.
Well, I joke to friends and family that it's almost like being a minor celebrity on campus, because Georgian Court, we have about 2,000 students, so there's about 1,400 undergraduate students, and in my capacity as president, I really do get to meet them and see them and interact with them. You know, I mentioned a little bit before we went on air, at LaSalle I was a provost, and provost deals with deans and administrators and faculty, and you rarely get to work with the students. So I'm just embracing this opportunity to really walk in with the students, talk with the students. They stop me on the campus, can I get a selfie? So they're pulling out their cell phones and pictures with the president. So it's really like a minor celebrity status. I enjoy it.
I was just going to say to you, I enjoy it. I just absolutely enjoy it. Here's a quote from the president of the Student Government Association Executive Board, Miriam Hunt. He has made a unique impact. Students have noticed how approachable and innovative Dr. Marbach is, and his support for students can only be seen through his attendance at games and other student events.
Well, we're all in. And Miriam is a great student. She's going on to graduate school at NYU, top of her class, just a tremendous role model, and who'd been she's a perfect example of this type of student we talk about, who just developed over those 4 years. What had been a kind of a shy, introverted young woman, inner city background, has just flourished into this lovely young woman who is confident, has taken advantage of some of our programs on campus. We pay special attention to women, so we have a program called WILD. It's Women in Leadership Development, and we have just developed a great core of leaders. Miriam is really the head of the class, and she's going on to study public administration and public policy at NYU. She's going to be a future leader. You're going to hear from her in the future.
I can imagine that your position as president is, in a sense, can be overwhelming with so much to do. And yet, when I hear a statement like this from the beautiful young lady that you're talking about, Miriam, you know, I would applaud her and I applaud you to get out among the students. I mean, there's something there's something that happens in those situations that you can't kind of pre-programmed, and they learn something from you. You learn something from them just by being with them, and that's another. Even as a priest, I felt that when some of the work I've done. And you bump into people now, and they'll say to you, 20 years ago, they'll say, "Gee, Father, thanks for it," and you say, "So what did I do?" But you're at the game, you're on the field, or you visited them if they're in the hospital. If you can't do everything, but you know what I'm trying. That there's more to that than we could ever probably preach about.
Oh, it's energizing, as you point out. I mean, it's just you feed off their energy.
Absolutely. And they feed off you. They might not say it all the time, but they feed off of you. And it's just, and they're proud because you just by being there, you tell them that you love them.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's for sure. They do appreciate the presence.
That's a big thing. Since you've been president of Georgian Court, it's been named a Catholic College of Distinction and made accolade lists from Money Magazine, The Economist, and Washington Monthly.
I wish I could take credit.
That's all right. Take credit.
I have taken credit. But it's really been it's a tribute to the good work that the sisters have been doing and that the faculty have done. It's a tribute to our alumni. When you look at how these rankings have come out, they're based on, the Money Magazine one is one that I'm particularly proud of. We were ranked 25th best school in the country out of 1,500 schools that they looked at for the value added in our education. And they looked at our alumni accomplishments and their salaries. They looked at the student debt that they came out with and that our people repay their loans. And they looked at our graduation rates, which were above the predicted norm for students that we were bringing in. So there's really something special going on at Georgian Court, and it continues afterwards with our alumni.
Super. Can you tell me a little bit about Catholic Schools Initiative?
I can. You talked about how we're trying to change our identity a little bit, or our mission. As I said, we get fewer and fewer students from Catholic schools, so we're looking to do more. So we're stealing a page out of Bishop O'Connell's book, and we offer all the graduates of Catholic high schools a $2,000 scholarship, automatic for coming in. And if a student isn't fortunate enough to go to a Catholic high school for whatever reasons, but they're active in their parish, if you bring a letter from your pastor, that gives you that same scholarship available. We're working with Catholic high schools now so that we'll be able to offer an online class to the students in the schools themselves. So after a certain hour, they'll be able to take what's the equivalent of an AP or a college class that our faculty will teach from our campus, and it'll be beamed into the classrooms, and we'll work with faculty in those areas. It's a bit premature, but we're working with a local Catholic high school to develop an automatic acceptance policy. So if a student comes in with a certain GPA and a certain SAT score, they'll be automatically accepted to Georgian Court, and depending on the GPA the student has and their SAT that they have, they're going to come in at a certain scholarship level. So the better the student, the higher the scholarship that's going to be available. We're linking our books. We have all our freshmen read a book each year, so we're going to have them give out book awards to the high schools as well. So we want to work with the high schools, and I've been working with the principals, particularly in Trenton, the Trenton Diocese.
And just Catholic schools or all schools?
Well, we've been initially focused on the Catholic schools. These are broad initiatives, but we want to really solidify that base.
You're almost making me wish I was a kid applying that. Although I must admit, Doctor, that at my age, when I think back to how we applied, it was so much easier.
Oh, it was. You only applied to one or two.
But it was easier. We didn't have to write this, do this. It was almost like, oh, he's a good kid, And, but it's so grateful. I love young people, and I just think it's so great that people like yourself and young people have the opportunities today that maybe we didn't have, and that's wonderful. Athletic scholarships will expand, and how about the women? Did they get some athletic scholarships?
Oh, sure. We actually have 9 women's sports, and it's been the mainstay of what we've done. So and they're all in the basics. We just hosted the tournament for softball on our campus this weekend. We also had track and field on this weekend. We have volleyball, basketball. We also have women's lacrosse. So we run 9 women's sports. The cross countries are the ones that always.
So you're walking across the campus and somebody stops you and says, "I think you're the president. I'm thinking of coming to Georgian Court, or I'm applying to school." What would you tell them about attending Georgian Court that they couldn't get anywhere else?
Well, they're going to get that personal attention. Small class sizes. We don't have teaching assistants. You're going to get a full-time faculty member in the classroom. They are credentialed full-time faculty members. 99% of our faculty have PhDs, and the 2 that aren't are working on it. They're going to get that pretty soon. So they're going to get that personal attention. They're going to find that mentor. They're going to find their place. And if you ever, I wish we had pictures of the campus. It's gorgeous this time. It's 150 acres. It's the old Gould Estate, so we've got a mansion, we've got a casino building where there's no gambling, but it's where we have lots of recreational activities going on and just lots of open fields. We also use it as our classroom too for sustainability and environment studies.
It's a gorgeous campus. I would urge people who are thinking about staying in New Jersey or just whatever to take a look at your campus. In fact, I must admit, I told my grandniece that, because she's a junior in high school now, and I said, there's a nice school down there, and I don't know where she's going to go, what she's going to do, but it is a nice campus, and it is a good location, and I know the spirit that you have. What difference does a college Catholic education have to offer students? And I know we spoke a little bit about it, but maybe expand on it, because I think that's important.
Yeah, well, I think it really is that ability to ask questions in that safe environment. Really these life-altering questions where at maybe a large public university, you might find somebody, but you might not. You might get lost in the crowd. You're not going to get lost at small schools like Georgian Court. We just won't let you. You just can't. You're going to have those faculty members. There's going to be maybe 20 students in the classroom at most. And many of our classes are a little bit smaller than that. So they're going to get that personal attention, and it's going to be faith-based. It's going to be based on our Mercy Corps values, which are all over the campus.
Dr. Mark, does everybody have to take a course in philosophy or religion, or is it just offered?
They have to take 2 courses in philosophy and 2 courses in religion. Okay. It's part of our general core requirements.
That's
general
all
education.
students?
All students, yes. So, and I think
That's
that,
good.
and it's the base. It's a liberal arts basis. You're going to get a liberal arts basis, even though you may be in an applied field like nursing or social work or education. But
Dr. Mark, I tell you, a real pleasure to have you on this program.
Certainly been my pleasure.
Keep up the great work, and families, take a look, Georgian Court. And more information, go to georgiancourt.edu. Bless you. Continue God's love and blessing. That was great.
Thank you, Monsignor. Appreciate it.